الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء وخاتم المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين سيدنا ونبينا بالقاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. واللعنة الدائمة الباقية لأعدائهم ومنكر فضائلهم وغاصب حقوقهم من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى. صلوات عليك. We're gathered tonight to commemorate the shahadat of our eighth Imam, Imam Ali ibn Musa Raza alayhi salatu wassalam. Keeping in mind that we have just reached to the end of the Azaa of Sayyid al-Shuhada with the Arba'in commemorated last week, I wanted to talk about the role played by the Imams who came after Karbala in keeping alive the memory of the tragedy of Karbala. And this is in line with the concept of mawadda. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran commands His Prophet to say, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا. O Muhammad, say to your followers that I don't ask anything in return for my hard work, no reward from you, إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى, except one thing, and that is that you love my family. And when we talk about the concept of Azaa, of Sayyid al-Shuhada and the other Imams, this is one way of expressing the mawadda. Because when we talk about the concept of love, the essence of love is basically to try our best to live a life which will make them pleased with us. You can't have mawadda without ita'at. You cannot claim to be a true Shia and a muhibba of Ahlul Bayt if you do not try. We are not talking about infallibility here. If we do not try to obey Rasul and his family. There is a famous ayat where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the Prophet again that ask your followers, in kuntum tuhibbun Allah fattabi'uni yuhibbukum Allah wa yaghfir lakum dhunubakum. Ask your followers, challenge them. In kuntum tuhibbun Allah, if you truly love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fattabi'uni, then follow me. And if you follow me, then Allah will love you. The main point here is that we are talking about Allah saying that do you love me or not? And then saying that I will love you. In between the hub of a abd towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the love of Rabb towards the abd, you have ittiba' of Rasul, obedience to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And so the mawadda cannot be separated from obedience. But one side of the mawadda is that whatever pleases Muhammad and Ali Muhammad should please us. Whatever is hurtful to them or displeasing to them should be displeasing to us. And this is where the issue of, hub and bughz towards, in the concept of Islam, based on the love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul and Ali Rasul comes in. And that's where we see this concept of celebrating the happy events in the life of the Prophet and his family, and commemorating the sad events in the life of the Prophet and his family. We see that after the events of Karbala, there was a lot of, strong pressure from Banu Umayyah especially to minimize the impact of Karbala. And one of the things they did was they came up with this mechanism of bid'ah. To cry on the mayyit is haram. You shouldn't be crying on those who die. Even to have the azab of Sayyid al-Shuhada, this is bid'ah. Let me just talk about one narration before I come to two hadiths from our 8th Imam. Keeping the occasion in mind, I would like to give you the entire hadith. One is a longer one, where our 8th Imam, coming almost a century after the events of Karbala, is talking about the importance of keeping the institution of Aza alive. Salawat alayhi. When we sit down as a community and we have this communal, commemoration for the events in the life of the Ahlul Bayt, sometimes we are told, do we have a precedence in the early days of the Prophet's life? Or is it just a bid'ah that you have started? If you look at the Battle of Uhud, where the uncle of the Prophet became Shaheed, Hazrat Hamza, when Rasulullah comes back to Medina from Uhud, passing by different streets before it reaches to his home, whenever he would pass by a house where somebody, a Muslim, had been killed and became Shaheed, he would hear the women, crying and weeping on the shahadat of their family member. And then once he reached close to his home, he realized the house or the room in which Hamza used to live, and he was alone in Medina, didn't have a family. And so when he saw that silence from the house of Hamza, he made a comment, felt very sad, and he says, لكن عمي حمزة فلا بواكي له. Other shuhada of Medina, they have people to cry, the women who cry on him, on their shuhada. But when it comes to my uncle Hamza, he has no one to cry on him. The Ansar, the companions who were with him, when they heard that, look at this loyalty. This is the love for, Rasul comes in. They didn't ask him anything. They immediately went to their homes. And they told their women, even those families who had shuhada in that event itself, they said, stop, you go to the house of Hamza now, cry on Hamza first and then come back. And Rasulullah was so much pleased with that he actually prayed. He says, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with them and the descendants of Ansar who have been part of the grief of my family. Salawat. And this is not an isolated report in our Shi'i books. This is coming from the common history of the Muslims. Not only that, this actually became a tradition, because then other battles took place, our other shuhada, lost their lives. It became a tradition that whenever a shaheed would be killed, the family, before they remember their own shaheed, they would first do nawha, remember the shahadat of Hamza, and then they will remember their own shuhada. So when we talk about this concept of majlis, not necessarily in the format that we have, but the basic concept of aza on a communal level, this is there in the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Salawat alayhi. Passage of time does not diminish the tragedy which is not on a personal level. When a tragedy takes place, especially on a communal level or a national level, it is commemorated even for hundreds of years. And if you look at the example of the Prophet himself, Maulana Shibli Nomani, a very prominent Sunni alim of the last century in India, whose books are even translated from Urdu to Arabic. because of his prominence. He has a book known as Siratun Nabi, on the biography of the Prophet, in 3 volumes. There he mentions an incident where he says that once the Prophet had gone on a journey, then he was coming back to Medina, but when he was coming back, he happened to pass by the area of Uhud, where Hazrat Hamza has been buried. He says the Prophet stopped there, went to the grave of Hamza, and he was crying and weeping as if the shahadat had happened on the same day, although this was happening 7 or 8 years after the event of Uhud. And so this is, again, we see not only confirmation of what people had done and the Prophet became pleased with it, the Rasul himself, even 7, 8 years after that, he stops by the grave of a shaheed, who happens to be his uncle also. And he is expressing his sadness and grief in that way, as if the shahadat had happened on that same day. And so when it comes to the issue of aza of the shuhada, this is not a bid'ah, this is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Salawat. 2 years ago in Majlis for Shab Ashur, on the 15th of December 2010 in New York, I actually talked on this issue of aza and the reasoning and the symbolism of things that we do even now for an hour almost. And probably if you go to the website of the New York Jamaat and if you look at their archives, you will be able to see, and this is 15 December 2010, you can listen to the entire talk on this issue, which, other speakers also have appreciated that, and they have sought permission to share that with the younger generation to make them understand the symbolism of many things that we do in the aza of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Salawat. And so it's not only the sunnah of Rasul to commemorate shahadat of the shuhada, it is something which has been reinforced by the imams who came later on. Almost all of our imams have gone through different levels of suffering at the hands of their enemies. But you will see none of them who came later on would talk about their own father or grandfather. All of them will say, remember Hussein. If you look at Imam Riza alayhi salam, his own father. He is the only imam who died in the prison. Yes, Imam Zainul Abidin, the early, hours of his imamat was in a state of being a prisoner. But Imam Musa al-Kazim alayhi salam is the only imam who died in a prison. And this is a unique aspect of his shahadat. But you go and ask Imam Riza alayhi salam and he will not talk about his father. He will say, remember my grandfather Hussein bin Ali. And this is where we see the emphasis on the issue of ziyarat. Whether you reside from far or you go to Karbala itself, especially the ziyarat of the day of Arba'in, which has been mentioned by the 11th Imam as one of the 5 signs of being a Shia. And if you look at the timeline there, 11th Imam is the Imam who is now preparing the community for the era of Ghaibat. And there he could have mentioned many things. But he mentions 5 things, and out of those 5, 2 are related to Hussein bin Ali. One is the issue of using turbat when you do sajda, and the other is the issue of ziyarat of Arba'in. So 2 out of 5 he relates it to the events of Karbala. And this is where we see, reciting of the ziyarat. Even, and I've mentioned this before, that even if you look at the ziyarat which has come for different days in the Islamic calendar, even though they are not related historically to Hussein bin Ali. 1st of Rajab has nothing to do with Imam Hussein. The ziyarat of Hussein is there. 15th of Rajab has nothing to do with Hussein. The ziyarat of Hussein is there. Shab-e Qadr has nothing to do with Imam Hussein, but the ziyarat of Hussein is there. They both Eids have nothing to do with Hussein, but the ziyarat of Hussein is there. When you look at all these events, even though they are not related to Hussein ibn Ali, but we are told that even in those occasions, remember Hussein bin Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. Salawat alayhi. This tradition of encouraging the poets, right from the early days of the fifth Imam onwards, we see, asking them to compose poetry to remember the suffering of Karbala. Because poetry is a very, very powerful, means of spreading ideas and concepts. And poets basically have some leeway, they are not like speakers who are restrained by narration to be sure that you recite whatever happened. But when you look at poetry, they have this some leeway. They might take an event and then build on it because it is poetry. You can't turn poetry into history, but you can take history and make it into poetry. And so, in the way, the poetry in the Arab culture, it has a very strong impact. And this was promoted by the Imams. They actually used to hold gatherings of their own family members and close companions, and then they would invite somebody that can recite the Marsiyah that you have composed. For example, in the case of the sixth Imam, we have narration where, even the women of the family were sitting on the other side of the curtain. And when the poet reaches to the suffering, the Masa'ib part, they could hear the men as well as women crying. And so this concept of Aza is there in the amali, practical sunnah of our Imams who came after the events of Karbala. Our Imams actually used to even go out of their way to reward, monetarily reward the poets. There is one where we see one of the Imams, where I don't remember the name, in Mina, during the time of Hajj. One of the poets had come and Imam asked him to recite Marsiyah, and when it came to the end, Imam asked his family members to go and gather whatever extra money that we have in the family and bring it here. And some of the women even gave their jewelry. And this was basically, given as a gift to the poet who was composing and reciting Marsiyah for Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And so this has been reinforced in different ways by our Imams. And this is, again, a reflection of this concept of mawadda that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran. Salawat alayhi. And so we see on the side of the Ahlul Bayt strong emphasis to talk about the Azab Sayyid al-Shuhada and to promote it on their own level and to encourage the community to do that. On the other side, you see those who were supporters of Banu Umayyah and say, like-minded people who came later on, even centuries after Banu Umayyah, they go out of their way to portray Azadari, to have memorial services for the Shuhada as Bidaat and Haram. Even people like Imam Ghazali, who is known to be a great spiritual master, says it is haram for the speaker to talk about the suffering of Karbala. Ask him why. Do not you believe in the suffering which took place in Karbala? He says yes. But then they have another problem. This is because when you look at the causes of Karbala, you end up somewhere else. And because of that, they say, stop, don't even talk about Karbala. And this is where, we have this problem. And so when you see the emphasis of the Ahlul Bayt on this issue, actually this is also in a way, response to the other, campaign against Karbala. Banu Umayyah even declared the day of Ashura to be a day of celebration. Anything good that happened in the history, in world history, they related that to the day of Ashura. They said Tawbah of Adam was accepted on the day of Ashura. The ark of Noah came to settle down on the day of Ashura. Musa crossed the sea on the day of Ashura. Every good thing which happened in the past history, they said it happened on the day of Ashura, and therefore it is a day of blessing and a barakat. Fast on that day and Allah will bless you. This was all done. All these ahadith are all, fabrications in order to diminish the impact of the suffering and the tragedy of Karbala. And it's in that background that we see the ahadith of our Imam emphasizing the issue of remembering the events of Karbala and to keep the azah of Sayyid al-Shuhada alive till the day of Qiyamah, inshallah. Salawat. Two ahadiths tonight from Imam Rizvi alayhi salam, and remember the timeline. We're talking about, Imam was born almost 80 years after the events of Karbala. And so it's not just immediate. We are talking about almost a century. But the emphasis that Imam has, and this both narrations are from Sheikh Saduq in his Amali. Amali, basically these are the books of Sheikh Tusi has one, Sheikh Mufid has it, Sheikh Saduq also has it. And these are actually the written notes of the students of these great scholars. And Amali was, these were the gatherings where they would sit down and narrate their ahadith based on the Sunnat that they have. And even the date was noted down, that this sitting or majlis took place on so-and-so, day at such and such place. And so Sheikh Saduq in his Amali, there is the gathering that he had, which in that book becomes the gathering majlis number 27. And two narrations from that I would like to share with you, hadith number 4 and 5. And both of them, as far as the silsila of the Sunnat, the chain of narration is concerned, they are, authentic. One is from Ali bin Hassan bin Ali bin Fazal, a very prominent Sahabi of the Imams, narrating, going back to his father, who narrates from Imam Ali ibn Musa Rizvi alayhi salatu wassalam. Talking about the day of Ashura, whether it is a day of celebration or the day of, grief and mourning, where he says, "Man taraka as-sa'i fi hawaijihi yawma Ashura qadwa Allahu lahu hawaij ad-dunya wal akhirah." Imam says that whoever abstains from acquiring or buying things, the worldly needs he has, the material and the goods, on the day of Ashura, Allah will fulfill his needs of this dunya and akhirah. This is to counter the concept that they have from Banu Umayyah, that the day of Ashura was a day of barakat. And then Imam says, وَمَنْ كَانَ يَوْمَ عَاشُورَ يَوْمَ مُصِيبَتِهِ وَحُزْنِهِ وَبَكَائِهِ. And for whoever, the day of Ashura was the day of his, musibat and sadness and crying on the shuhada, of course. جَعَلَ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يَوْمَ فَرْحِهِ وَسُرُورِهِ. And for such a person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the day of Qiyamah, Allah will make that day of Qiyamah for him a day of happiness and joy. So for you, making the day of Ashura the day of sadness and grief, Allah will reward you by making the day of Qiyamah for you the day of happiness and joy. وَقَرَّتْ بِنَا فِي الْجِنَانِ عَيْنُهُ. And such a person, there will be light in his eyes, happiness in his eyes because of us, by seeing us in the Jannah, inshallah. وَمَنْ سَمَّ يَوْمَ عَاشُورَ يَوْمَ بَرَكَةٍ وَادَّخَرَ فِيهِ لِمَنْزِلِهِ شَيْئًا. And a person who considers the day of Ashura to be the day of barakat and blessing, and gathers material goods for his house on that day, anything, لم يبارك له فيما ادخر, those items will not be blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وحشر يوم القيامة مع يزيد وعبيد الله بن زياد وعمر بن سعد لعنهم الله إلى أسفل درك من النار. And that person on the day of Qiyamah will be raised along with Yazid and Ibn Ziyad and Umar ibn Sa'ad. May Allah's la'nat be on them, and they will be in the lowest level of Jahannam. Salawat. And so this is a hadith, seems to be, very clearly countering this propaganda by Banu Umayyah of, declaring the day of Ashura to be the day of blessing. And that is why they consider it to be a day where you should recommend it to do fasting. We counter that by saying don't fast on the day of Ashura, because this is what Banu Umayyah wanted us to do. However, we refrain from eating and drinking until the majlis is done, just to relate ourselves to the suffering of the day of Ashura. But we do not do the fasting on that day, because we don't believe that is the Sunnat of Rasul. It was all a fabricated hadith in order to declare the day of Ashura to be the day of Barakat. Another long hadith that we have from our eighth Imam. This is from Rayyan bin Shabib, and I would like to present this in its entirety. Rayyan bin Shabib, or popularly known as Ibn Shabib, was a close companion of the eighth Imam. And he says, one day I went to the Imam, and that was the first day of Muharram of that year. He says, when Imam saw me, and Imam asked me, Ya Ibn Shabib, asa'im anta? This is the first of Muharram, not the day of Ashura. Are you fasting today? And Ibn Shabib said, no, Imam, I'm not fasting today. And now Imam talks about the importance of the month of Muharram. He says, إن هذا اليوم هو اليوم الذي دعا فيه زكريا. The first of Muharram is the day where Zakaria prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فقال ربي حب لي من لدنك ذرية طيبة إنك سميع الدعاء. This is from the Quran. Zakaria was very old, his wife was barren, didn't have a child, didn't have any hope of having a child. It's only when Maryam is given into his custody, and he's taking care of Maryam, and when he came to realize that she is a special child chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is where the love for a child was rekindled in his heart. And so now in that very hopeless situation, he is very old. In one of the du'as he says, my hair has turned gray or white, my wife is barren, but still he prays that, oh Allah, give me a child. And so Imam says he did this on the first of Muharram, and فَاسْتَجَابَ اللَّهُ لَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted his dua. وَعَمَرَ الْمَلَائِكَةَ فَنَادَتْ زَكَرِيَّا وَهُوَ قَائِمٌ يُصَلِّ فِي الْمِحْرَابِ. These are the ayat from Quran, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the malaika to respond to the dua of Zakaria by saying to him, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُبَشِّرُكَ بِيَحْيَا, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the good news of a child to be born to you, whose name would be Yahya. And so, talking about that day of importance, Imam says, فَمَنْ صَامَ هَذَا الْيَوْمِ, the first of Muharram. If you fast on that day and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will accept your dua the way He accepted the dua of Zakaria. And then Imam talks about the month of Muharram. In many Islamic calendars, you will see when they write the name of the month in Arabic, normally we just write Muharram, Safar, Rabiul Awwal. In Arabic writings, you will see they add some of the descriptions of the month. They will say Muharram al-Haram. Why is the month of Muharram called Haram? Not a haram in the sense haram, haram. It means haram in the sense of sacred and holy. Just as we have the mosque in Mecca known as Masjidul Haram. And so that is from Hurmat, the sacred mosque. And so Muharramul Haram, the sacred month of Muharram. Why is the month of Muharram considered to be haram and has hurmat? This is where the Imam says, يا ابن الشبيب إن المحرم هو الشهر الذي كان أهل الجاهلية فيما مضى يحرمون فيه الظلم والقتال لحرمته. يا ابن الشبيب, the month of Muharram was the month that even the people in Jahiliyyah before Islam, the idol worshippers in Arabia, they used to respect the sacredness of this month by avoiding zulm wal qital. They would not fight. Means the tradition those days was before Islam that even if the murderer of someone's father comes in front of him, on this month of haram, they will not do anything. They will wait till the month ends and then take the revenge if they can still find him. And so that was the sacredness that the Jahiliyyah people, observe about the month of Muharram. But then Imam says, فَمَا عَرَفَتْ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ حُرْمَةُ شَهْرِهَا وَلَا حُرْمَةُ نَبِيِّهَا. But look at this ummah. Look at this ummah of the Rasul. They did not respect the sacredness of this month or the sacredness of the Rasul. وَلَقَدْ قَتَلُوا فِي هَذَا الشَّهْرِ ذُرِّيَّتُهُ وَسَّبُوا نِسَاءَهُ وَانْتَهَبُوا ثَقَلَهُ. They killed his descendants, his family. They took the women of his family as captives and looted their property. فَلَا غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَهُمْ ذَلِكَ أَبَدًا. May Allah will never ever forgive them for what they have done. And then the next point that Imam mentions, I will come to that at the end. The following one after that, وَلَقَدْ بَكَتِ السَّمَاوَاتُ السَّبْعُ وَالْأَرْضُونَ لِقَتْلِهِ. This is a Masoom Imam saying that when Hussein was killed, not only the human beings cried for him, even the seven heavens and the earth cried for Hussein. Now you might say, what does it mean? It doesn't make sense. I'm talking to those who believe in the Quran. Look at Surah Dukhan. In Surah Dukhan, there is a passage where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the story of Prophet Musa and Fir'aun. And there he says, when Fir'aun was drowned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, look at Fir'aun and the family of Fir'aun. They had palaces, mansions, fields and gardens and streams and gold, everything that you can think of in this dunya, they had it. But what happened to them? When they died, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, even the heavens and the earth did not cry on them. It means, according to that ayat of Quran, the heavens and the earth can cry. We don't know. We don't understand that. Just as if you look at ayat of Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the heavens and the earth and whatever is there, not only the living things, even the non-living things which are there in the universe, do the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلَا يَفْقَهُونَ, but you do not understand their tasbih and that praise. So just as we do not understand the tasbih of inanimate items, similarly we cannot comprehend the buka, the crying of the heavens and the earth. But this is where the Masoom says, وَلَقَدْ بَكَتِ السَّمَاوَاتُ السَّبْعُ وَالْأَرْضُونَ لِقَتْلِهِ. That even the heavens and the earth cried on the qatl of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. وَلَقَدْ نَزَلَ إِلَى الْعَرْضِ مِنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ 4,000 malaika descended on the day of Ashura. But they came down after the shahadat of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And they decided to stay there. They said, we will not live. We will not leave Karbala. We will be here. This will be our abode. till the time of the zuhur of the Imam from the descendants of Hussein, and they are the ones who actually become the witness of the zuwar when they go for the ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. Salawat. Continuing on that theme, Imam says, Ya ibn al-Shabib, لَقَدْ حَدَّثَنِي أَبِي عَنْ أَبِيهِ عَنْ جَدِّهِ, that my father has narrated to me from his father, referring to the sixth Imam, who narrates from his father, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salatu wasalam, who was and the fifth Imam was a witness of the massacre of Karbala. He was there, very young, but he was there. He says, أنه لما قتل الحسين جدي مطرت السماء دما وترابا أحمر. The way the sky cried, the rain came down in form of the blood. Now whether it was pouring fully or thus, there were some, drops here and there. Even Sunni historians, some of them say that on day of Ashura, people in Jerusalem and Damascus, when they lifted the stones, they could see the redness underneath it. And so there are narrations even in Sunni sources which talk about this concept. And then the Imam goes on to say, Ya ibn al-Shabib, إن بكيت على الحسين حتى تصير دموعك على خديك. If you, Ya ibn al-Shabib, cry on Hussein until the tears flow on your cheeks, غفر الله لك كل ذنب أذنبته. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you all the sins that you have committed. صغيرا كان أو كبيرا. Whether it's a minor or major, قليلا كان أو كثيرا. Plentiful or less, doesn't matter. Allah is willing to forgive. Now, of course, I'll get the question that it means, we don't care about whatever we do, as long as we come and cry on Imam Hussein, everything will be forgiven. No. That is not the implication we should walk away with it in this majlis or from this hadith. There are hadiths where the Imams have said, Man baka wa abka wa tabaka ala al-Husayn wajabat lahu al-Jannah. Whoever cries or makes other cry or makes the face of somebody who is sad, Jannat is wajib on him. Those are authentic hadiths. But the implication is not that you can do whatever you want and then cry on Imam Hussain and it will be forgiven. It's just like you hear in English, there is saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. What does it mean? It's a valid statement, but it doesn't mean you just eat one apple a day and that's it. It just means, that it's a message that maintain that balance in what you eat. And this is where we are told, when we talk about the wila and the muwadda, it is conditional to ita'at and obedience. But with that attempt of being obedient to Allah, Rasul and the Imams, if there is lacking and weakness on our part, that is where the azab Sayyid al-Shuhada comes to our rescue and would help us in getting forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salawat. And then Imam continues to talk about the reward of the azab Sayyid al-Shuhada. Ya ibn al-Shabib, إن سرك أن تلقى الله ولا ذنب عليك فزر الحسين. Ibn Shabib, if you would like to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah in a state that you don't have any sins in your records, go and do the ziyarat of Hussein. Ibn Shabib, إن سرك أن تسكن الغرف المبينة المبنية في الجنة مع النبي وآله. Or Ibn Shabib, if you, son of Shabib, if you would like to live in the houses in Jannah, close in proximity of the Prophet and his family, فَلْعَنْ قَتَلَةِ الْحُسَيْنِ. Then send the la'nat on those who were responsible for killing Hussein. يا ابن شبيب إن سرك أن تكون لك من الثواب مثل ما لمن استشهد مع الحسين. O son of Shabib, if you would like to get the sawab, similar to the reward of those who became shaheed with Imam Hussain alayhi salam on the day of Ashura, then فَقُلْ مَتَى مَا ذَكَرْتُهُ يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ مَعَهُمْ فَعَفُوضُ عَفَوْضًا عَظِيمًا. If you want to be on that level to get that sawab, whenever you remember Hussain, utter these words which are from Ziyarat-e-Waris also, that I wish I was there to be with you and share in the honor and the status that you have attained. يا ابن الشبيب إن سرك أن تكون معنا في الدرجات العلى من الجنان فاحزن لحزننا وافرح لفرحنا. O son of Shabib, if you would like to be with us in the higher stations in the paradise, then be sad for our sadness and be happy for our happiness. وعليك بولايتنا, and maintain our vilayat and law. فلو أن رجلا تولى حجرا لحشره الله معه يوم القيامة. Maintain this law and vilah that you have for us. And then if that is true, you will be raised along with us on the day of Qiyamah. Salawat pande karar. The last statement before I go to the Urdu part in the Masa'ib, which I left. This was the third segment in this hadith, where Imam says to Ibn Shabib, إن كنت باكيا لشيء فابكى للحسين بن علي بن أبي طالب. O son of Shabib, if you ever have to cry on anything, people do not normally cry. But Imam is saying, O Ibn Shabib, if you have to cry on anything, when he uses the term li shay'in, it includes the whole universe, including Anbiya and Mursaleen, including our own Prophet. Imam Riza alayhi salam is saying to Ibn Shabib, if you have to cry on anything, then cry on Hussain bin Ali bin Abi Talib. Why? Then he says something which even I didn't realize until I looked at this hadith, where he says, فَإِنَّهُ ضُبِحَ كَمَا يَضْبَحُ الْكَبْشِ. Because Hussain was slaughtered the way the sheep is slaughtered. We look at our imams, other than the living imam, all of them we consider them to be shuhada. Majority of them become shaheed by the means of poison, including Imam Raza alayhi salam. Only two of them where we see sword was used, Ali and Hussain. But even when it comes to Ali, he was attacked by this sword, but the shahadat happens later on because of the poison which was there in the sword. But the only person from all the imams who was actually killed by the method of slaughtering was only Hussain. And that is why this title of Zabih Karbala, even Imam Zainul Abidin remembers his father with that title. Even the Shuhada of Karbala, we hear about 72 heads on the spears. All the Shuhada of Karbala, their heads were severed from the body, but after their Shahadat. But when it comes to Hussain bin Ali, Hussain was alive. He was alive, and that is where his head was severed from the body. And that is where Imam Raza alayhi salam says, Ya ibn Shabib in kunta bakiyan li shay'in, if you are supposed to cry on anything, then cry on Hussain bin Ali, because he was slaughtered the way the sheep is slaughtered. And that is why we see the similarity between him and Prophet Yahya alayhi salam, who also had the shahadat of the same kind. Azadari Hussain, हमने ये दो रिवायत आपके सामने पेश की हैं इमाम रज़ा अलैहि सलाम की तरफ से, चूँकि अय्याम अज़ा के आखिरी अय्याम हैं, کہ یہ سلسلہ ازا ہے جو اہل بیت کی دین ہے، یہ ہمارے صرف رسومات کی بات نہیں ہے، یہ ہمارا ریلیجس ٹریڈیشن ہے، ہمارے سنت نبوی اور سیرت اہل بیت کی بنیاد پر ہے۔ جو کچھ آپ سنتے ہیں کہ یہ بدعت ہے اور حرام ہے اور رونا نہیں چاہیے، یہ سب فضول باتیں ہیں، غلط باتیں ہیں، یہ اہل بیت کے مصائب کو کم کرنے کے لیے، اس لیے کہ یہ وہ فرش ہے، یہ وہ انسٹیٹیوشن ہے کہ جس کو بھی آپ بیٹھال دیں ممبر پہ، لوگ ذاکر اور خطیب اور عالم کی وجہ سے نہیں آتے ہیں، لوگ اس محبت کے وجہ سے آتے ہیں جو حسین کی محبت ان کے دل میں ہے، اور اسی کے ذریعے ہمارا دین جو ہے ہمارے ساتھ ہے، ہماری معلومات بڑھتی ہے، ہمارے نفس کی پاکیزگی ہوتی ہے، اور ہم بہتر مومن اور انسان بنتے ہیں۔ اور اسی لیے اسی پر حملہ ہوتا ہے ہمیشہ، کبھی حرام کہہ دیا گیا، کبھی بدعت کہہ دیا گیا، اور ہر امام نے جو بعد میں آئے ہیں سب نے یہی کہا ہے کہ ہمارے مصائب کو بھول جاؤ، میرے بابا کے مصائب کو بھول جاؤ۔ اگر یاد رکھنا ہے یہ جملہ سمجھ لیں آپ، امام رضا علیہ السلام نے جو تعبیر استعمال کی ہے، ان کنت باکیا لشیء، اگر کسی چیز کے لیے تمہیں رونا ہے ابن شبیب تو صرف حسین پر رو۔ اسی سے اندازہ ہوتا ہے کہ کتنا زور دیا ہے امام رضا علیہ السلام نے۔ آج ہم لوگ جمع ہوئے ہیں امام کے شہادت کے لیے، تمام شہداء میں، ائمہ میں امام رضا علیہ السلام کی شہادت منفرد اس لیے ہے کہ امام کو غریب الغرباء کہتے ہیں، بالکل یک و تنہا تھے، وطن سے بہت دور تھے۔ مامون الرشید نے جس طرح سے ظاہری رکھ رکھاؤ رکھا تھا، توس میں اس نے اسی شہرت کی وجہ سے جو امام کی پھیل رہی تھی اس ملک میں، وہاں وہ زہر دیتا ہے۔ روایات میں ملتا ہے کہ امام کے جو خادم تھے جن کا نام تھا یاسر، جب بلاوا آتا ہے مامون الرشید کی طرف سے کہ ہمارے گھر آ جائیے کھانے کے لیے، امام جاتے ہیں خادم کے ساتھ اور یاسر سے کہتے ہیں دیکھو مامون الرشید کے گھر سے جب ہم آئیں، اگر ہماری ابا جو ہے ہمارے شانے پہ ہے تو سمجھنا کہ ہم خیریت سے ہیں، لیکن اگر ہم نے اس ابا کو اپنے سر کے اوپر رکھا ہو تو سمجھ لینا کہ مجھے زہر دے دیا چکا ہے، مجھ سے کلام مت کرنا، اور ہم کمرے میں جب آئیں گے دروازے کو تم بند کر دینا۔ عزادارہ نے حسین امام جاتے ہیں، اور علم غیب رکھتے ہوئے بھی وہ بحث الگ ہے، لیکن امام کبھی بھی اپنے ذات کے لیے اس میں علم غیب کا استعمال نہیں کرتا ہے، جانتے ہوئے اس انگور کو کھاتے ہیں جس میں زہر تھا، کھاتے ہی احساس ہوا اور اٹھ جاتے ہیں۔ مامون الرشید سے یہی کہتے ہیں جو تمہارا مقصد تھا اس میں تم کامیاب ہو چکے ہو، اور اپنے ابا کو اپنے سر پر رکھتے ہیں۔ یاسر سمجھ گیا کہ امام کو زہر دے دیا گیا ہے، آتے ہیں کمرے میں جاتے ہیں، یاسر نے دروازہ بند کر دیا۔ اسی کرب اور تکلیف میں امام نے غالباً 2 دن گزارے ہیں، اور اس کے بعد عالم تنہائی میں، اور اس لیے غریب الغرباء کہا جاتا ہے، کہاں مدینہ ہے اور کہاں طوس ہے، وہاں شہادت واقع ہوئی۔ آج نوے امام کی خدمت میں ہم لوگ آئے ہیں پرسہ دینے کے لیے۔ نوے امام سے یہی کہیں گے کہ آپ کو تسلی دیں گے ہم اسی طریقے سے جس طرح سے 8ویں امام نے کہا ہے کہ یاد کرو حسین کے مصائب کو۔ مولا آپ اعجاز کے طریقے سے مدینہ سے طوس آئے، امام نے غسل دیا، بابا پر تنہائی میں نماز پڑھی، بعد میں امام کے جنازے کو رسمی طور پہ عزت و شان کے ساتھ اٹھایا گیا، پبلکلی نماز جنازہ ہوئی اور دفن کر دیا گیا۔ امام محمد تقی علیہ السلام سے کہیں گے مولا مدینہ کہاں ہے اور طوس کہاں ہے، فاصلے کو ذہن میں رکھیے، آپ پہنچ سکے اپنے بابا کے بالین پر، لیکن کہاں خیمہ گاہ اور کہاں مقتل حسین، اس منظر کو ذہن میں رکھے، شاید کچھ تسلی آپ کو ملے۔ امام زین العابدین سب کچھ ہوتے ہوئے بھی اتنا فاصلہ نہیں تھا، لیکن بابا کے سرانے نہیں پہنچ سکے۔ بس ایک پھپھی تھی جنہوں نے پردہ خیمے کا اٹھایا، باہر آتی ہے، بھائی نظر نہ آئے، جاتی ہے، اس بلندی پہ. یہاں کہیں گے جناب معصومہ سے بھی آپ کو بھی پرسہ دینا ہے زینب کے نام سے کہ زینب جب تلے زینبیہ پہ پہنچی ہے اس بلندی سے نشے پر جب دیکھا حسین زمین کربلا پر نظر آئے اور شمر ملعون کا منحوس زانو حسین کے مقدس سینے پر تھا. اس وقت امام جناب زینب نے عمر بن سعد سے کہا ہے انت تنظر ابا عبداللہ یقتل, تو دیکھتا رہے گا اور میرا بھائی قتل ہو جائے گا. اتنے میں ایک نیزہ بلند ہوا اور جناب زینب نے دیکھا بھائی کا سر بلند ہوا, ہاتھوں کو اٹھاتی ہے اللہم تقبل منا ذا القربان. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. خداوند اس قلبات قبول فرما, ہمارے گناہوں کو بخش دے, ہمارے توفیقات میں اضافہ فرما, امام کے ظہور میں تعجل فرما. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم.